So we're in Orang Cresta Gardens Resort in Francistown. We have a little bit of extra time here today, so we're just going to show how we basically do the basic camp setup. We have parked the vehicle where we think that it works, and the things we have to consider when you're parking is, can you put the tent up, clear the trees. The kitchen side of the vehicle is here, which is the passenger side of the vehicle. How does that orientate to where you want to have a braai relative to the sun and level? So a lot of things to think about quickly, when you come to a site, how you want to organize it. So we're level. I'm not concerned about the sun on here at this point, and the grill's over there. So the kitchen side is set up to where the cooking area is. And so this is the basic kind of preparation to set the camp up. The first things we always do is put down the ground mats. And so we put a ground mat at the back step, drop the step down, and then we get out the mat for the sitting area. And typically, somewhere closer to the kitchen. Also, considering where the shade is going to be, etc., we'll set up our ground mat for the kitchen area. Put this back up. And then we'll go inside. And this is the stuff that immediately will come out. We have 2 chairs. Set those up. Of course, Mary would be here normally. She's manning the camera, and so the both of us will be working on this, and it goes twice as fast actually. Now, very importantly, if I'm carrying bear, which I've started to carry, I use cut down beer crate. And that beer crate, when flipped over, has our carpeted step that goes along for getting into the vehicle. There's another crate, and in there we carry our water. That's the carbon filtered water. It's our drinking water. And that'll give us another, either a step for the kitchen, something to place items on if I need to reach high. And so we have another reinforced crate. We have 2 individual clothes bags. Now these will always come out. If there's no monkeys around, then we just throw them on the hood of the car. If there's monkeys about or whatever, then we'll put them right into the front cab. At nighttime, the clothes bags will go right onto the front seats, and then when we're all packed up and ready to leave the next day, or whenever we're going to leave that same day, the clothes bags come off those seats, and they're the last things to go into the vehicle. So at this point, there's only a few more things to remove. We have a couple of tables. Whether we bring them both out or not kind of depends on what our setup is, but we'll bring them both out. And this is the second. These are front renter tables. There's no retakes on this. You get all the bloopers. And I bring out a water bag, either hanging on a tree or I set it somewhere so we can wash our hands or rinse dishes or whatever away from the vehicle. we'll normally take that out and hang it up somewhere or place it somewhere we can use it. That will basically is everything inside that we're going to take. Close it up. You always keep the door closed. And then on this side of the vehicle, open up this first hatch, and we have either a footrest or it's a seat if I'm going to work on the computer, or it can hold a drink. And so if I were to work on the computer, I'll use that. And then we have another little end table, again, for whether we're going to have a drink or not. Might go into the cooler, pull out something cold at this point as we're continuing the build, continue to set up camp. So I might get a beer out at this point. And then by now Mary would have moved on to the kitchen and kind of the rest of it, but I'll do that. She's nursing her sore eye. So to get the kitchen going, pretty straightforward. There's always the need to set up the counter. This table was kind of custom made upon request, and so it's a very simple, stable work surface, and has this L counter giving us more workspace. This is the customized carry bag for it. Just put that back, and Mary would kind of get her kitchen set up typically, especially if it's getting close to the time to want to need the stuff. And she has a couple of wraps for the utensils, and she will put these out there. And if the cooking was going to need a stove, she would bring the stove out. She would orientate it as such and work here, or she'll orientate it this way. Again, that depends on her preference and how the ground is, and whether she's how the ground is sloping away, where she'll choose to work. And then there's quick disconnects for the propane. There's a dust cover for the propane outlet. So that's set up. The stove's out. At this point now in setting up the camp, if we don't need shade, this is pretty much, we're done. If the sun's setting on the other side, it's late in the afternoon, there's probably no need for it, or the shade of other type available. But if we actually would like some shade, then we'll pull this out. This is the Alucab 360, or what they call it, a 180. I think they call it a 270. Awning. So Mary and I would be working together on this. Get this out. It's pretty straightforward though. Put this up. This is the biggest fiddle. So that's setting up the awning. There's legs at each of these corners. It does depend on the what the wind situation is. These get staked down. There's stakes then for the guy ropes. The stakes are kept in this bag. And now we would have the shade set up. Also kind of protects stuff from falling into your wheel while you're cooking. We open the kitchen back up, and if we're going to have a snack or something, and then you just kind of go in and get what you need. There's a bunch of tea kettle, a toaster. You want to have tea toast as a snack, or chips or biscuits, and so we're ready. And that's how it gets set up. If we're not driving any longer for the day, we're going to want to set the tent up though. And so if we were headed back out today for an evening game drive, we wouldn't put the tent up right away, but we'll do that now. And there's a couple of aluminum rods that slip in to open up the window on the back. Provide shade over the window. Okay, now it's completely done. A lot of times we don't actually pop the tent until it's dark, and literally just a few minutes before we go to bed, we'll pop the tent. And again, that depends somewhat on the sun, whether we're trying to charge the batteries and keep the solar panel flat or the way it's orientated to the sun. Eventually the camp's set up, and we can relax or get ready for dinner.